21 degrees out. Can you see that? 21 degrees. I don't like this weather. I don't live in New England for this weather. How much longer? How many more days till spring? God, I'm tired of this already. And we've been hella spoiled because it's been warm for so long. Anyway, I'm Babz Rawls-Ivy. Welcome to LoveBabz, Love Talk. I'm coming to you on 103.5 WNHH. I'm live streaming across the social media platforms, WNH New Haven Independent, Love Babz, Love Talk. And you can hear me all around the world because apparently, according to Harry, people listen to us. So I'm appreciative. And I always get people run up on me talking about I hear you in the morning. I was like, okay, good. Thank you. And sometimes I talk about stuff and sometimes I talk about nothing at all. So I'm over at the Independent site and this morning because I know I see the U.S. Attorney General for New Haven, Connecticut or whatever. She's resigning. Of course she's got to resign. She's got to, because Trump is going to come in and put all the people that he likes in these jobs. And that's not just him. Every president gets to decide who they want as a U.S. attorney in states. So she's living 3 days before he takes office. Uh, I don't know about you, but this Trump business is like, when you tell your girlfriend to break up with the bad boyfriend, and be like, girl, don't take his ass back. And what does America do? Take his ass back. Like we ain't learned the first time. Like we got all nostalgic about, oh, he said he loved me. Oh, and then you get back with him and you're like, oh, he is trash. So America is in that crazy whirlwind of a bad relationship. Trump is a bad boy. He's a terrible boyfriend. And America took him back. And you only going back for more where there was only less to begin with. It's a bad boyfriend. You know, I don't get it. And there was so many damning things that you could just say, I don't want him back. But but y'all got friends who take back bad boyfriends. And some of us have done it. I might have done it a time or two in my life. I can't call when, but everybody has given somebody another chance at their heart. America, girl, you in danger. You need you need your girlfriends to come and talk to you. I don't know who Britain, somebody come talk. Britain, Canada. Well, the president of the prime minister of Canada is quitting too. Uh, who is out? You see, where is Angela Merkel? Where is she? She could talk some sense into America. Maybe not. Oh my God. This is just a bad breakup. We had a bad breakup and then we take them back. Why? America, you need therapy. You need some therapy. You need real therapy. And you need not to be in a relationship with nobody, America. I mean, I know we need a president, but damn, this is a terrible president. This is a bad boyfriend. And we'll learn. You'll learn 6 months in, you'll be like, damn it, I should have. Uh, Bad breakup. And 6 months in, watch what'll happen. You'll be regretting this decision to take this mofo back. You'll be regretting it 6 months in. And then you're gonna look like a sucker to the rest of the world. To your little friends out there. Girl, I took him back. Why you take that? Mm, I took him back. Why? America, why did you take him back? Well, because he was saying he was sorry and he was gonna do things differently. he's gonna be better this time. He's gonna be more attentive, he's just gonna be a different person. Girl, no, he's not. He gonna be the same asshole that cheated on you, lied to you, shamed you, humiliated you. He gonna be the same guy. America, what are you doing? Girl, we got too much history, girl. I didn't put too much time in, girl. I you know what? I gotta give him a chance. I gotta give him another chance. I gotta give him a chance. Why? Why? You deserve better. You had better. There was better waiting in the wings. Why did you go back for more where there was only less? Why? I don't know. I just felt like, he was saying all the right things, and I really believe him this time. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not gonna say I told you so, but girl, I told you so. America, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay. We'll wait and see. But not 2 minutes after he said he was gonna be different, he ain't different. Girl, what are you doing? I gotta stick it out. I gotta give him a chance. You know? I mean, we got things together. I swear to God, this whole Trump fascination in America is like a bad boyfriend situation. It's like one of them Lifetime movies. You keep taking somebody back, he beat your ass. You take him back, he beat your ass. He humiliates you, locks you up, all the stuff, and you take him back. That is America right now, and I don't get it. Trump is he's like a bad drug. I can't cut him loose. Like, and all you poor white people, and some of you misdirected and misguided black people, and you crazy Latino people, this is gonna be terrible for you. It's gonna be terrible. Your eggs are not gonna go down. You're not gonna get cheaper eggs. You done gave this man a license to ruin your lives. The eggs are not gonna go down. The eggs are not gonna go down. So I don't, America, what are you doing? Grass, that's not how they felt with Biden. Biden won overwhelmingly. You know. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? We're just gonna, you know what? America, we're just gonna be there with clinics and bourbon. All you people who don't drink bourbon, you'll be drinking bourbon in about 6 months. And for those of you who don't drink bourbon, some good ass tequila will do the same thing. And tequila is nicer on the body. I don't listen. I don't know what to tell you. We in trouble. America, we in danger, girl. This is gonna be a mess. Well, I don't know. Uh, so that's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm gonna monitor the situation, like a good friend would, America, you made some bad choices in your life. You made some very, very bad choices. And you've made a hell of a choice that now you can't get divorced from for 4 years. And your eggs are not gonna be cheaper. Mm-mm. You people think your eggs gonna be cheaper? Unless you got a friend who got chickens or you got chickens, your eggs are not gonna be cheaper. Although I'll tell you what kind of eggs I like. I like the Vitalife eggs. Them jokers is like $8, $9, $10. I know, too much. But like the best eggs made out there. You know, they like the best eggs out there. See, I'm not one of these people. I don't like the nickel and dime my food situation. That's not I don't play those games, you know. Although I said this a few years ago, when you got money to burn, you shop at Target. When you don't have money to burn, you shop at Walmart on Route 80 or Wallingford because they got the lowest prices of anybody. But now Aldi has, stepped into the arena and really like people really love Aldi. I like Aldi too. It took me a minute to sort of get used to the whole situation of Aldi. My youngest daughter, Margot, loves it. She shops it all the time. So I subsequently kind of dig it too. Me and Ife, we go to Aldi because they always have lots of fresh vegetables. And I just don't want to shop at Walmart. But my money goes long at Walmart. See, that's always the moral dilemma. Do you stand on business or do you stand on, you know, survival? See, you know what I mean? Like that's always the choices with poor people. We wanna stand on the side of right, but we gotta feed families and stuff. And so it's very difficult to take a moral stand and you gotta put bread and butter on the table, and they know that, you know. So that's challenging. So you get a place like Walmart and all these big companies now who are doing away with DEI and all that kind of stuff. You know what they're really saying is we don't give a damn about you niggas. Can we say can I say nigger Harry? Because that's how I feel. That's like we don't care about you people. We damn near don't like women working for us of any hue. Well, we hate black people even more. So we don't give a damn. George Floyd has been dead 4 or 5 years now. Get over it. We not. We don't. I don't care. Walmart is saying. A bunch of places are saying it now. We gonna disband all this equal opportunity mess. We are not equal and we are not providing opportunity. Deal with it. We're gonna hire what we want. We need a white America and we need a white America right now. So watch. I'm gonna tell you something. As soon as that cat gets in office, all you people that are of a particular persuasion, you're gonna get swept up and be on the deportation bus. And it doesn't matter if you were born in Puerto Rico or you're a citizen, they're not gonna care because by the time they sort through getting you understanding that you are an American, you will have been in detention for 90 days, 5 months, 6 months. Watch. They're not gonna care. They're gonna racial profile the hell out of people and they're gonna round them up. Listen, and if you Asian folks think you're not gonna get this smoke, y'all at the top of the list. So while y'all running around bringing these lawsuits, getting mad at these schools for not letting y'all in, or you think they're not letting y'all in, oh, it's unfair. These black kids are getting in on DEI and affirmative, all this foolishness. These little stupid ass Asian kids are saying this mess, and they a whole lawsuit got everybody to disband all that stuff off their applications. But guess what happened? Guess what happened? It didn't bode well for them. Their numbers didn't go up, their numbers went down. But guess whose numbers stayed exactly the same? Them legacy ass kids. My mama, my father, my grandmama, everybody in my family went to this, that, and the other thing. So I'm getting in. But no smoke to those. That make up like what, 46%? But you got smoke for minority students? Are y'all high? What is wrong? Who is talking to these young people? Y'all gotta start listen. Y'all gotta stop listening to these white supremacists because they fill your head with nonsense. And this not even. And you don't even go check. You just You just think, well, this is what I see, this is what I believe, and I'm not going to check, I'm not going to fact check, I'm not going to ask, I'm going to act and I'm going to react. Like, kidding me? So now the little numbers are down for all the Asian kids, you know, who feel like, oh, if they just removed all those barriers, it would be more of us. Psych. It's just like what it's wild. Now, black and Latina kids took a little hit too, but it pretty much stayed, like maybe a 1, 2% less, but it's pretty much stayed on par. It's the Asian kids that really took a nosedive. The ones that started all this foolishness. I was like, okay, all right. The schools, the schools, the schools that want equity and inclusion, they're gonna find a way to do it. They're gonna find a way around. You can't tell me that people can't figure out how to, go around these laws because they've been doing it for hundreds of years. But no smoke, no smoke on legacy. And nobody mentioned a damn thing about legacy kids. It's all quiet, quiet. Nobody, and them legacy kids was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna just go over here and do my work, even though my last name is on that building. I'm in opposition to that." Ah, yeah. Oh my God, the craziness of it all, the craziness of it all. So anyway, so I say all that to say. It's hard to stand on business when you gotta feed yourself, your family, all the things. It's hard to take a moral and that's the whole thing. It's you're gonna have to suffer when you take a stand. That's it. That's it. You're gonna have to suffer. And it's very difficult because people don't, Montgomery boycott was successful because people understood that it was gonna cost them a great deal to continue this thing. And they did it. And boycotts work. It's at a cost though, and the cost of freedom is always high, and you have to be willing to pay that price, whatever the price is, you know. And I don't know in 2024 who's willing to pay that price. I mean, there are people who are willing to pay the price. I mean, look at the indigenous people who stand their ground on whatever little ground they got left in this country, who are always fighting back against, people wanting to dig oil or tear down or destroy and all this other kind of stuff, as if they haven't done enough, since they arrived. But okay. So people know how to protest. And honestly, and I say this all the time, protest is one of the cornerstones of democracy. Being able to protest without harm, without being arrested, all that other foolishness is a cornerstone of democracy. People ought to be able to express their outrage and their dissatisfaction with whomever is running the country. That's what protest is for, you know. And we can't lose sight of what that means. And we have to pay attention to all those folks who want to curtail the movement of protesters. When they want to make it illegal for you to protest. Like that, people should be up in arms about that. They should be, pissed off, mad as hell, and not going to take it anymore. Now, I'm not suggesting people go all jihadist because, listen, there's a lot of things that I'm willing to stand out in the street for and shout. I'm not prepared to strap on no weapons of mass destruction and kill myself and other people. I'm never gonna go that far. Listen, just not gonna happen. I'm not one of those people. And I don't hang around people who think like that because I don't think that's the way to go. I don't think terrorism is a viable tool. It's a momentary tool, but in the end, people people will be pissed off and they will fight harder, you know. That's the part that terrorists don't get. Like, yeah, you could kill up a bunch of people, but then these people, their resolve is just going to get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And I listen. I I I I understand how people could get to the place of desperation where they think the only recourse they have is to act this way. And if we can't at least try to understand that, then we are just going to go in a circle of doom. Just going to keep going. Yes, it's wrong. Yes, we should be outraged. Yes, it should be outlawed. All the things. But at the end of the day, we have to understand, we got to look at why people feel so compelled to want to kill a whole bunch of people to make a point, you know. And that's because they feel like they're not being heard. Now, I have no sympathy for terrorists. So don't mistake what I'm saying as some sort of empathetic sympathy for terrorists. I hate terrorists because I think that's a low level cop out way to sort of get your point across. Because I feel like as long as you have command of language, that you can have conversations with people. Now, I know it's hard because it's hard to have conversations with people who are stupid. Listen, and who can't hear you and who are myopic in their beliefs and in the way that they want to be in the world. I get it. I mean, I look at Congress. You got a whole Republican Party who is not interested in anything other than their own individual interests. They are not interested in the welfare of American people, and they never have been those people. So it's hard to sort of get across the aisle to them. Some of them could be rational, but they are party strong, right? They listen. They got a playbook. This has been the same playbook for 50 years. They're gonna stand on it. They are standing on it, and that's, you know, so that means those who are opposed to the way that they do things have to work that much harder to sort of get to reason, and that's exhausting. That really is exhausting. And I understand that. I'm not one of these people who are just like, I'm a Democrat, I can't hear anything else. I mean, I am a Democrat and I cannot hear stupidity. That's it. But there is some value when we start talking about, other places in the world that are having these challenges. There is a role for diplomacy, a great role for diplomacy, you know. And I just feel like we've lost that fine art of diplomacy. We just lost that art. And we see it with the reality shows that people watch. We see it with people on the street. We see it in our neighborhoods. Everybody is, you disrespected me. Like that you hear it in the streets and you hear it at the high levels of legislative government. People feel disrespected, whether real or imagined, they act on what that is. To me, that's quite dangerous. It's dangerous on the street and it's dangerous at the high levels of government. That's all I'm saying. So terrorism is not the answer. And I get it. Sometimes you just want to beat somebody's ass. I understand that too. Sometimes you just want to beat somebody's ass. And listen, not advocating violence either. I'm not suggesting people go beat people up. That's not what I'm saying either. I'm saying that I know how people could get there quick, fast, in a hurry, because some buildup has happened. Some real or unimagined slight has happened, and you don't feel heard or listened or respected. You're gonna act like you haven't been heard, seen, or respected. It's just That's just how I see it. I see it with we can see it with young people all the time. This is what all this violence is in these streets with these kids. What somebody disrespected somebody over there, you know, and now I got to show you. And I don't know why we mad at these kids because they're brandishing firearms when everything about this country is about brandishing firearms. Listen, we got whole TV shows about how the West was won. We got whole movies about how, you know, they killed off all the indigenous people, right? We got whole shows about how to get away with murder. Not the Viola Davis show, just other shows that I just use that title because that's the appropriate title. But we are fed a steady diet of discourse, you know, a lot of discourse. These reality shows are about discourse, and they are at the very personal level. They are at relationship level, me to you, you to me levels. And that's got to be damaging because people, it fans out. It fans out. It fans out. So if you've got adults who don't know how to relate, talk to each other, you have kids who don't know how to relate, talk to each other. And if you got leaders who are willing to sort of like kill a whole swath of people to make a point, whether it's in Israel, whether it's in Yemen, whether it's in Sudan, when all that stuff, when you got adults who are just willing to kill swaths of people, you know, what do you think kids, who do you think is watching this stuff? How do you think people learn this stuff? It's crazy. And then we want kids not to do what we do. Don't do as I say, not as I do. What does that mean? I'm gonna kill all these people, but don't you go kill all these people. Right? Because that's really what you're saying. Well, I have a reason. I'm the leader. Okay. And gang members think the same thing. Well, I'm a leader too. I'm a leader over here, and this is what I'm gonna do. You know, I'm gonna take a page from the movies, the films, the da 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 da. I'm gonna do all of that. So. I mean, we gotta take these deep dives into some of these issues. And as I said, I was having this conversation with Dr. Jonathan Berryman the other night about, the on the road to Damascus, this Good Samaritan story, where it was the Good Samaritan that, helped, the priest, the Levite, all of them passing by, couldn't be bothered. And he's just feeling like, well, they didn't stop to help because they wasn't prepared to help. And that just seems like a real cop out to me. Because whether you are prepared, no one is prepared to do it. If I'm in the elevator with a pregnant woman, I'm not prepared to help her have birth, but I'm right there, so I have to help. That's just what it is. I don't know what else. If I'm walking down the street and I see an old lady fall, I might not be prepared to help her up, but guess what I gotta do? I gotta help her up. I'm not gonna walk by. I'm not gonna look by like, damn, that old lady fell. Nothing I can do. I got these new hips. I'm damn sure not gonna bend over to help her up. What? Who is that? I'm not that person. And I know so many people who are not that person. I think the story tells us, for me, and I'm no theologian, I'm just playing one on the radio, that the story for me is it's about the will to see yourself in somebody else's plight. And that the idea is you help because you may one day need to be helped. Or, and you help because it's the right damn thing to do. That is at the heart of it. It's the right. Why are we playing fast and loose with what the right thing to do is? I don't know why we do that. And that's a story that we ought to wrestle with. But at the end of the day, for me, the story says, well, what is the right thing to do here? Did the priest not know the right thing to do? Sure, he knew what the right thing to do. He didn't have the will to do it. Sure, the Levite knew what the right thing to do. Of course, they knew what the right thing to do. They just didn't have the will to do it. The Samaritan knew what the right thing to do and said, you know what? This is the right thing to do. I'm going to do this thing. And that's it. I'm just going to do the right thing. That's the whole basis of Spike Lee's movie. Do the right thing. And listen, y'all know I'm no daggone saint. I've done more wrong things than I could even shake a stick at. However, when it comes to humanity, you know, I'm not gonna leave somebody alone if they fall down. I don't have it in me to do that. I just don't have it in me. If I see somebody lost, I'm gonna try to help them with directions. If somebody is outside begging for food and I got some change in my pocket, I'm gonna get them a sandwich or something, whatever I could get with what I have on me. That's just the right damn thing to do. Why are we, why are we, why are we always arguing about the right thing to do? And people do this all the time. And I said this some years ago when I first started the show. I cannot stand when they see people begging on the street and they make a moral decision about what these people gonna do with the money that they ask you for. Like you really gonna have a moral judgment about somebody asking for a quarter or a dollar or whatever it is, You gonna make a moral judgment. All they gonna do is buy liquor. Let me tell you something. If I'm on the street and that's what I need to survive, or that's what I need not to beat your ass and rob you, I'm gonna give you the dollar so you can get you your nip. You know, right? Common decency, Harry. I saw that. Common decency. We don't lack it, but we've already set the tone for not having Donald Trump has set the tone. We already knew we had a decency problem, but he opened it wider and made it accessible to not be decent. That's just what it is. He just made it acceptable not to be decent, and they just ran with it. They just ran with it. So now you got, and we don't understand how this sort of trickles down because now, we think, oh, well, it's just limited to up there in that arena. No. Now we got people want to talk to waiters and waitresses all kind of ways. They want to talk to people all kind. I'm like, this is a waitress. Like, if you in Denny's and you berating a waitress, you got real, real problems. If you're in any restaurant berating waiters and waitresses, you got real, real problems. You got real, real problems. If you are in Target and you're yelling at the customer service people, you got real, real problems. Seriously, you are unhinged. There's nothing, and I get it. Who among us hasn't been frustrated? I tell you what I hate the most. When I have to call some customer service and I got to go through 8 million checks, put in this code, hit this number, hold please, da 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 da. Just to get to finally 2 hours later, you get somebody, they're like, can you verify your information? I was like, well, what was the last 2 hours of me pressing buttons, putting in my blood type, all this stuff? What was that for? That's just to pacify you, make you feel like you are contributing and getting somewhere. You're really not. Because when they get on the phone, they were like, okay, give me your information so I could get into the screen. What? You don't have it pulled up? So I get how people can flip out about that stuff. I get it. It's annoying. And we're moving away from customer service. We're moving away from having real live people help you. And that's frustrating for a lot of people, particularly if you're of a certain age where you are accustomed to when you make a call, somebody answers the phone. Not this AI foolishness that we're all going to be a part of. But here it is. AI is a part of life. I mean, it's just where we are. And and those who can embrace it will embrace it. But there is something about decency. I remember I read a book by Stephen Carter called Civility, and it's one of my favorite books because it just talked about how we. And this book was I read this book maybe 20 some odd years ago. So I don't know if he would revisit it again, but civility and decency. You can say whatever you want about President Carter. He was a decent man. By all accounts, he was a very decent man. Now you could say whatever you want about his presidency. Whatever, who cares? But even in his presidency, he was a decent man. He didn't screw people over, he didn't treat people like trash, he didn't do any of that stuff, you know. Uh and then when he retired from office, you could see the decency in how he lived his life. Decent guy. I've never heard him talk about I'm gonna get these rats or all this other kind of stuff. I've never heard it. Decency, civility. It's and I don't know how we get back to being kind and good to each other. I don't know. I really don't know. I used to think I would know, but I don't know because it is so we are so quick to be pissed off. And people are in that space. I watch it play out all the time. I watch it play out on road rage, and I have to catch myself and check myself periodically when I get all fired up. I'm like, wait a minute, why am I? Check yourself, Babs. Why are you fired up? And I only know it because the element of this moment has sanctioned people coming out their bag the way that they do. That people think they can just cuss out anybody for any reason whenever they feel like it because they have the right to. Now, I don't have the right to slap the ish out of anybody because God knows. So you gotta check yourself before you wreck yourself, you know. But there is something to this lack of decency and civility with each other and amongst each other. Um, and trying to elevate to a higher vibration about how you are in the world. I don't like fighting with people. Now, that doesn't mean I'm afraid to fight with people or I won't fight with people. Nope, that doesn't mean that at all. I don't like it. There are people who enjoy just being fiery all the time. I'm not that person. Once I know what a person is, I deal with them accordingly. Do you know what I mean? Like if you know somebody is crazy, then you deal with their craziness and you accept it for what it is. You don't be like, "Oh, I wish they were different or whatever, whatever." I don't wish any of that, you know. I just try to I just try to keep moving as best I can. So, I say all this to say there's a lot of things that we could do to tone down the vitriol that now it's not going to happen in the next 4 years. The next 4 years is going to be amped up. So I'm trying to get people to get prepared for the vitriol. I'm going to try to get people I'm trying to get people prepared for the foolishness that's about to be unleashed in these next 4 years. And it's going to hurt. And it's going to be crippling. And I want people to be prepared for that, you know. Uh, and I want people to not react to the foolishness that's going to come their way. And it's going to come, and it's going to be painful. And it's already starting to, you already hear. I mean, if we can't even have a conversation about the peaceful transfer of power. I mean, something so basic and fundamental to what we call democracy and the way that we hold ourselves accountable and the way that we wish to lead to the other world. Even that is questioned. And we just came off the anniversary of January 6th. And people want to, these right-wing people want to shove it under the rug, be like, oh, wasn't that bad? Like several people lost their lives, you know, because people felt like they could storm the Capitol based on their own ignorance and stupidity, and at the behest of a man who knew exactly what he was doing. Trump is a master manipulator. He is. He has always been. He's a rapist. He's a Lothario. He's corrupt. He's unkind. He's insulting. You know what I mean? He's a cheater, an adulterer. I mean, all the things that people were like, nah, I don't want that in a person. All the things, all the things we say, all the things we say we don't want our daughters to date or our sons to date. All the things, and yet, leader of the free world, leader of the free world. And so there'll be no shortage of shenanigans that are coming down the pike. And my wish, my hope is that the Democrats, um, and I listen, I know people think that the Democrats don't have any backbone. And I know they think the Democrats, you know, um, don't know how to get in and wrestle in the mud. And I don't know if I need Democrats to get in the mud. I don't know if I need Democrats to mirror the foolishness of the Republicans at this moment. I don't think that. But I do think that the Democrats have enough tools and enough history to take a big enough swing to fight back. It's like Star Wars. The Empire fights back. Really, you have to think about it that way. You know. And everything in this American culture and Western culture is about fighting anyway. So, we have to embrace that part of it, I guess, because we're not going to get to peace any other way except fight our way to it. Ain't that the craziest thing? We ain't gonna get to peace unless we fight our way to it. We have to fight our way to peace. Damn it! There's no other way to get there. The language that we use, the everyday warring language that we use as part of our everyday practical lives really sets the tone for how we are and how this country is. And we use violent language all the time. And we use violent language as part of our everyday conversations, you know. And I challenge everybody to sort of think about how they use violent language. And it might not feel like violent language until you examine it and be like, oh, that's very violent. Shoot your shot. Shoot it. Take a shot. And I get it. Shot means a lot of different things, you know. But when we could get mad at Beyonce for making the hand gesture of a firearm and not deal with the actual use of firearms in the hands of people who shouldn't have them, I know we got a problem. There are no bullets in this hand. There's nothing in the listen, it's just a hand. Look, dot, 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 boop, 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 boop. There's nothing. This doesn't hurt anybody. If I point my fingers at you like this, nothing is going to come out of these fingers. Nothing. This is not Looney Tunes. There's nothing gonna come out these fingers. So getting mad at the mere idea of this, but not the actuality of actual firearms in the hands of people who shouldn't have them. And I'm talking military grade firearms. We got all kinds of problems. Misdirecting foolishness. Just misdirected. And I just want people to just like settle in a little bit and like look at everything and question it. And like, that seems odd. Or just, or even if you don't think it's odd, just take it apart. Just break it down. Break it down. And see what this really is. Even people who binge on a steady diet of Fox News, and God help you if you do. And Fox News is an insidious virus in this country and has fed a lot of this foolishness that we are experiencing. And it's a dumbing down of the American populace faster than anything, faster than banning books can do. Faster than banning books. Fox News is detrimental to the American psyche, and people listen to these fools and think that what they're saying is the truth. And it's frightening how easily people won't won't take the time to sort of discern or be contemplative about what they listen to. You know, they're just like, yeah, 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 that's right. Uh-huh, uh-huh. It's like, oh, oh, oh. And and the most troubling thing is for me is the best and brightest among us know better. When we have a country, the majority of the people in this country read at a less than a sixth grade level. It's got to tell you something. And if it doesn't tell you something, then you are deliberately and willfully standing in ignorance and stupidity. You are willfully choosing that. Willfully, willfully, when you don't take into account, that kind of information and what that means. Really, what that means. And I dare anybody go have a conversation with a 6-year old. I mean, a sixth grader, and read what they're reading. Not in these white ring wing school systems. No, not there. But pick up a book that a sixth grader is reading. Go have a conversation with a sixth grader, and then that'll tell you where we are. You know. And if you're comfortable with that, if you think that that's enough information, that's enough education, that's enough ability to read and discern and be contemplative, then I don't know what else to tell. I have no further conversation for you. I have no further conversation for you because clearly you find that acceptable. What troubles me a lot is, and there's a couple of things about education that are troubling to me. I hate this conversation about cursive writing and there's no need for it. When all the documents that sit in all the museums and all the places, the Constitution is written in cursive. We gotta have people who will not be able to discern or decipher language. We gotta have people who will not be able to read that document and tell people what it means. That's what's We got people who won't be able to read the Constitution. They won't be able to read the Bill of Rights. They won't be able to read. This was this is real. This is real stuff. They're not gonna be able to do it. They're not gonna be able to sign their own names. At the end of the day, yes, we are e-signing our names all over the place. But there comes a moment that you will have to sit before somebody and sign off on a document, whether it's a marriage license, a driver's license, insurance, or whatever it is, a check, whatever it is, you're gonna have to sign off. And let me tell you something, post Reconstruction, we should not be encouraging people not to write signatures. We should not. And I know we got all these things that can, identify us, our thumbprint stuff and face recognition. I was at Whole Foods. You could do a whole recognition with your hands or whatever. You put your hand up on the thing. A little creepy to me. And that's what is that? Whole Foods? That's an Amazon kind of vibe. So we got a lot of we have a lot of work that needs to be done, and we're not getting to it. There are pockets of people who are getting to it, but it's not on an overarching radar of a bigger, broader picture. That's the thing that bothers me. And it's not so much the politics of things. Flint, Michigan still is without water. And Flint is not the only place in this country that has terrible water, bad water, water that will kill you. There's other places in this country that are dealing with the same thing. We just know about Flint because the news media just focused on Flint. But there's other places. There's places where people are living on land that is contaminated. I'm sorry, check Connecticut, check Greater New Haven, check Hamden. That's not even news anymore. So we got a myriad of problems that really affect our quality of life. And it's all like it's all connected. It's all, you cannot talk about one without talking about the other. Do you know what I mean? Like we can't talk about the environment and not talk about the way we use transportation. And you can't talk about transportation and not talk about where jobs are. And you can't talk about where jobs are and not talk about, well, where's housing in relationship to those jobs. And you can't talk about housing without talking about affordability, right? And all, you can't have those conversations. They're all connected. And everybody's like, oh, so overwhelming. It is. However, however, we could still tackle these things and we could still work on these things, you know. That's why I'm so disappointed in the city of New Haven. I don't know what the vision is. Does anybody know what the vision is moving forward? What is the vision? And no one seems to have a vision for this city, except we're just gonna keep building more apartment building on, and they love to say on land that hasn't, that we didn't have to kick nobody off of. We didn't have to have eminent domain for this land. These were just lots. Why? This is economic growth. Just build apartments that nobody can live in except a certain particular price point. I don't know what the vision of this city is. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know where we're trying to go. I don't know what we're trying to be. I don't know. Or maybe I'm not keyed in enough. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know. And who is responsible for the vision of this city? What are we calling ourselves? We used to be the model city. Then we were the community policing city. Then I like to think that we're the arts community, but I, what? So those are the kinds of things that I think about. I'm gonna go warm up my stash mint tea. I'll come back and I'll just riff a little bit more. See what else we can get into. I'll be right back. All right, Harry, play some good music.
If it wasn't for the 9 to 5 doubled up overtime, then I could remember. If it wasn't for the Sunday All-Star Weekend game, girl, I could remember. And if it wasn't for the dough,
hi, this is Babz Rawls-Ivy from New Haven, Connecticut, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, streaming live at newhavenindependent.org.
Spend my life making up